Hey, for all the authors that are listening out there, I wanted to share with you this great email that we received here at the Reading with Your Kids podcast from Dr. Linda Mubarak. She is a past guest and the author of Maxine's New Job. Here's the email. Dear Fatima and Jed, good news! Maxine's New Job has been nominated to receive the prestigious Henri Award at the 2018 Christian Literacy Awards for Outstanding Literacy Work in the Children's Book Division. I sincerely believe your certifying Maxine as a great read helped bring increased social media attention to the book. Thank you for the exposure and the great marketing. We are so happy for Dr. Linda Mubarak that her book, Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read, Maxine's New Job, received this prestigious recognition. We would love to help your book receive that same kind of recognition. If you are interested in having your book considered for our Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program, please visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com. You can click on the contact button, send us a note, and we'll send all the information back to you, or you can go right to our Certified Great Read page on our website. It's fun, it's easy, and it is really an effective way to let the world know that your book stands out above all the rest. The Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program.
Reading with your kids.
Hey, so great to see you. Come on in. Hi, my name is Jed Lee, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We are coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. We are so delighted that you're part of our beautiful Reading with Your Kids family. Please be sure to subscribe to the show on the iHeartRadio app, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. Our guest today is Lorrie Manosh. She is here to talk to us about the feeling closet. What are you wearing today? Before Lorrie joins us, I want to let you know we're really excited about this. It doesn't always happen like this. We recorded the interview with Lorrie about a month, 6 weeks ago, and at that time she submitted her book, The Feeling Closet, to our panel to be part of our Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program. And it just so happens that our team has come back and they have given The Feeling Closet, What Are You Wearing Today, 5 stars, making it our latest Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read. Our panel really loved this. We really love this for a number of different reasons. We love it most of all because, as you'll find out in our conversation with Lorrie, the Feeling Closet is a great way to inspire conversations with our kids about our feelings, about their feelings and their emotions. It's so very important, and identifying your emotions and controlling them, it can be so difficult, especially for some kids. And we love the images that Lorrie has created with this book, and we love the fact that this is a great resource that'll really be helpful for families and for kids to help them identify their feelings and then learn to manage them. We're really excited about it. You're going to find out more about the book as we listen to Lorrie, but big thanks, congratulations to Lorrie Manosh. The Feeling Closet, What Are You Wearing Today, is our latest Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read. Joining us right now from the beautiful south coast of Massachusetts, she is the author of a great new book called The Feeling Closet. Please welcome to the show, Lorrie Manosh. Lorrie, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Jed. I'm excited to be here talking with you today, and I'm really eager to share my book, The Feeling Closet, What Are You Wearing Today, as I feel it will benefit so many children and families.
It's interesting that you talk about wearing our feelings. Tell us a little bit about that concept and also about the book, please.
Absolutely. It is definitely a book that both entertains and teaches children, and it's great for all ages. But in the book, you have Matt, who's a young boy, and he's, waking up like all of our children do, and he's getting about to get ready for his school day, but he really has a lot of fear. He wakes up with this feeling of fear for the event that's happening at school, and like many kids, he just doesn't want to go. So his mom recognizes that, and she's able to sit down and talk with him, and she explains to him that he has a feeling closet Now, Matt is totally unaware of what a feeling closet is, but he soon learns that a feeling closet is a place that holds all of his different feelings, and he doesn't have to hold on to fear for the entire day. And as Mom works with him and talks with him and shows him more, he realizes that he has choices. And through choice, he's able to totally turn his day around. And it's really exciting for Matt. And he learns also that not only can he turn his feelings around, but he can carry more than one feeling at a time, and it's okay.
That's a really fascinating concept and idea. And I just want to mention early on, there are a lot of kids who wake up like your character who don't want to go to school. I think the statistic is that there are 650,000 kids every day who don't want to go to school, and they don't go to school because they are afraid. It's such a universal feeling. What inspired you to create this book?
Well, I was a teacher in the elementary ages for over 20 years. I taught anywhere from K through 6. I taught special education. And in having dealt with children both in public schools and dealt with them in the church, and having 4 children of my own, I really realized that children struggle with feelings. They don't know what they are at some point. They don't know what to do with them, and they don't know how they can access and change them. And it really led me to this book and inspired me to help other children and to try to see what I could give them that would make their day better, because I truly believe that children, when they're learning, there's more than just the academics. While the academics are so important, there's a social and an emotional side of children. And it's so important that we tap into that early and teach them so that they can grow healthy.
I absolutely agree with you. And I'm on the, on the side that the social emotional learning are so much more important than the academics are absolutely important. But I think helping our kids grow up to feel confident in themselves, to understand that they're loved, to be able to deal with their feelings, it's so important. And I think it's something that we've kind of not forgotten about, but we don't address it enough with a lot of our kids.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes we brush it off for 2 reasons. One, maybe we don't know. Maybe we've never dealt with our feelings in the right way, and we're struggling now to have our children deal with their feelings in the right way, depending on what our background is. And number 2, time. The creativity to try to figure out, how do I sit down and have this discussion with my child? And what's great about the feeling closet is it's a toolbox for families and for parents and even for teachers to say, hey, here's one way you can talk to your children. You'll often hear me say it in my house. What's going on in your feeling closet? Have you checked your feeling closet today? Because if we're coming out with an emotion such as fear daily, that's something we need to deal with. And we need to teach our children that they don't have to live in fear. And maybe we need to have further discussions about what that fear is so that we can pinpoint and guide them.
So I want to be clear. You're not saying that if Matt wakes up in the morning and he's feeling fearful, that he can just go and stick the fear into the closet. You're talking about helping kids deal with those feelings.
Absolutely. So in the back of my book, I list a number of different feelings just to introduce the kids, such as joy and trust. And there are negative ones like anger, but then there's happiness and there's sadness, and really teaching kids that there's both negative and positive emotions. But just like we change our shirt, if I'm getting ready for an event and realize I have the wrong shirt on, what would I do? I would go into my closet, I'd take a look at other options and choose what is best for the activity I'm going to. And just like that, I want to teach children that, hey, yes, you're holding on to some fear, but why are you having fear? And is that going to help you? If I hold fear for the entire day, it's really going to put a negative spin on what I'm trying to do. But if I can go maybe into my closet and try to grab happiness, now maybe I'm afraid because the activity isn't something that I'm good at, so that is the reason why I'm fearful. But I realize that happiness can be worn because now I'm going to be with my friends, and I really do like that. So that does make me happy. And there are other things that make me happy. And if I can swap out the feeling of fear and recognize that there is happiness in my day, it is going to help me.
Now, I imagine there might be some people out there listening to this thinking, oh, it's unrealistic for a kid to be able to, switch on, switch off. And I don't think you're necessarily talking about that. But I mean, I agree with what you're saying. As a magician, as I am mentoring younger magicians, and one of the things that a lot of them come up to me and they say, I'm so nervous before a show. I don't know what to do. I'm like terrified. I've all this stage fright. And they look at me and they say, how do you do it? You just go on and you're never afraid. And I tell them, no, that's not true. I just learned how to turn the fear into excitement, or turn my perspective on those feelings, so I'm not looking at them as fear. I'm looking at it as excitement. So it's the same feelings. It's just a different way of looking at them and using that energy.
Yes, absolutely. And I believe that we all have choice. And just like sometimes as parents we give our children a choice for dinner, and we're able to kind of control that. I will let you can have chicken tonight, or you can have the steak that we're eating. We might give them a choice, and that's the same thing we want to try to teach them with our feelings. The responses I've had from children are amazing. I had a 4-year-old girl come to me and say, do I have a feeling closet too? And that was really exciting to hear, because at 4 years old, she was already starting to understand that. I had another mom reach out to me and actually sent me a cute little video of her daughter, and her daughter was going to a closet. And she said, what are you doing? She says, well, I have anger right now for reading. And I think she had some fear also. And the mom said, okay. And she just did it as a visual. It gave her something to do. She walked over there and she was just thinking. She wasn't changing or physically doing anything, but it was just a quiet place for her to find and think. And she came out and she said she had her reading shirt on, and she was understanding that she was able to change her madness or her anger for reading into a happy reading feeling. And then she put on her brave pants. She realized that she had another choice, but she had to stop and think about it.
I think that that's one of the most important lessons for kids. We've had a guest on the show a number of times, Dr. Ron Melmed, who's a pediatrician and also developmental specialist. And his big thing is to teach kids to stop and take time to think. And yes. I think that that's also what you're doing is encouraging kids to think. Take the time to think about what it is you're feeling. Again, we've talked a lot on the show about the fact that there are so many kids, they have these emotions, but they don't understand what it is they're feeling. They just don't like the way they're feeling, and they don't know if it's fear or if it's anger or if it's disappointment. And helping our kids understand the difference between those things can make a huge difference in their lives.
It absolutely does, but it takes us as parents and as teachers and as mentors to these children, just take a time and put a name on it to say, you know what, you are experiencing fear. And that's what Matt's mom did to him in the book. Mm-hmm. And she said, you are experiencing fear. And he was able to label it. And she was able to talk to him and say, that is going to bring negativity to your day. It's not something you have to hold on to. And as Matt went into his closet and began to think about it, he thought about choosing joy, but realized that the event he was going to really wasn't joyful for him because he knew he wasn't the best at it. And in turn, he chose happiness. He said he was going to choose joy for something else that really brought him joy. But just in that moment, Matt was able to understand and experience the feelings of joy, of happiness, and of fear. And he was able to sort them out, which was really important.
I kind of love that story that you told about the 4-year-old who found her brave pants and her reading shirt. And these are really cool little techniques that can really make a difference in kids' lives. Sometimes if they have something physical that they can put on, the kind of intellectual concept is easier for them to grasp. So do you agree?
I do agree with that because, as an educator for so many years, you understand that kids both are different types of learners. They're auditory learners, they're visual learners. Some people need to kind of visualize and see, and I think this gives a visual representation to them because, again, in the book, Matt says to his mom, well, what do you mean about a feeling closet? And she uses the example of him changing his shirt. And she says, if I asked you to go in to your closet because you had the wrong shirt, what would you do? He said, well, I would put it back and I would take out another shirt. And it really left it at a concrete example and a visual for him to understand, like, hey, wait a minute. Although I can't physically take a feeling out of me, in my mind, I can let it go and grab another one. And what it also allows is it allows that fear can still hang in your closet. We don't want to teach kids that they have to be happy all the time because it's truly unrealistic. There are times that we are going to experience fear. There are times we're going to experience anger. But it's teaching them to manage them, to only hold on to them for as long as need be. And then to make a choice. And again, choice is so crucial, to make a choice to change.
I wonder, have you heard any stories where a kid, this is kind of a silly question, I apologize, but, a kid woke up feeling happy and said, no, I decided I want to put my angry shirt on right now?
No, I haven't heard them going back the other way, but another example was a grandma who wrote to me and she said, and this was amidst the coronavirus, and she said, my grandson said they loved the book, and he told me today he was picking out hopeful. Oh. And he was picking out hope. And that was really exciting to me. And I think bringing the book right to the child's bedroom, because that's where a lot of feelings begin, or that's where a lot of feelings spread. They come home from their school day, or, mom and dad has said something, or a friend has said something. Where do they go? They go into their room, their place of isolation, and that is really where a lot of feelings, especially negative ones, can grow.
How do we help our kids deal with those feelings? We talked about, taking off and making choices, but, the fear, the anger, that still persists. Do you encourage families to, okay, you changed into your hopeful shirt, you changed into your happy shirt, not the joyful one, but the happy shirt, and you put the afraid shirt or the fearful shirt away, the angry shirt away. Do you also encourage folks to, when the kid comes home, all right, let's get that shirt out and deal with those feelings and understand those feelings?
Well, absolutely. It needs to be at the right time. When a child is escalated, if they're in a state of fear, if they're in a state of anger, you're not going to get too far with them because they're in that mode. It's really important to take time after to really unpack that feeling. Possibly you were able to get them off to school and kind of get that feeling changed. But when they come home, just like Matt, when he came home from his school event, mom was able to have that follow-up discussion with them and see why happiness did make a difference. And I think it's so important that we acknowledge the feeling, but then unpack it at a different time when things are calm and say, hey, today I noticed you were really angry and we, dealt with that quickly, but why were you angry? And what can you do in the future to try to avoid that? And again, we still need to let kids know that the negative feelings will come, but it's our choice in managing them to make them better.
Yeah, you're so right. And that time, giving kids that time instead of trying to work through the anger at the moment when the kid is escalating, That can make all the difference in the world. A lot of times when the kids are, at least in our experience, when our kids were younger, when they were escalating, when something was really kind of setting them off, trying to deal with it at that moment didn't always help, and sometimes made it worse. Oftentimes, just giving kids space and helping them feel safe and calm, and but it's really, really important to go back there. If you give a kid space to, kind of vent an emotion or whatever, change their feelings out, you really need to go back and address it, whatever it was that was making them upset, once they are in a better place.
That is correct. And also included in the book, I have a little follow-up in the back of the book. There's 3 different talking points that you can talk with your child to kind of help facilitate those discussions. And there's even some activities where children can draw out or describe, and it allows us to dig deeper with our children. Again, it's a toolbox. And then also listed is a number of different feelings. And one of the great things, I had a friend come to me and said, my child was struggling a little bit with feelings. We read your book. We're so appreciative and we love it. And she said, but what was really great is that the other day I saw him pick up the book and go right to the back. And he's sorting through and reading through the different feelings. And the key is to make kids aware that they have feelings, that good feelings will come, bad feelings will come, and it's okay. It's how we manage them. But again, if I can say, another important aspect is that we as adults model. We need to model. And I've said to my kids today, you know what? I need to go in my feeling closet, because right now I'm really frustrated with the situation. And if I stay frustrated, it's not going to help you or me. So could you give me some time? And again, that feeling place is almost like a timeout. Mm-hmm. They do not have to go anywhere. But Matt chooses just to go into the other room because he just wanted that quiet place. The girl that I told you about earlier literally went into her feeling closet. For some of us, it just might be closing our eyes, but just getting a moment to kind of reassess.
You're absolutely right, and that modeling is so important, so important. And one of the things you mentioned is taking a time out. I think a lot of families they think, well, I don't want to punish the kid. We don't slap kids. We don't use corporal punishment anymore, but we'll give them a time out. Timeout doesn't need to be a punishment. A timeout is just a timeout, like you take a timeout if you're playing football or basketball. Or, you just stop and kind of regroup.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I've done it with my own children. You're not in trouble, but I just want you to step aside for a few minutes and think. And this is what's really great where you can use this. I want you just to go into your feeling closet for a minute and reassess the situation. I want you to look at your behavior and think if you can make it better, or if your behavior is the best. Now we're talking a lot about the negative emotions, but we also need to go in and say, wow, I noticed that your feeling closet was filled with happiness today, that you really seem to be wearing happiness, and I'm so proud of you. So while we want to realign the negative feelings, we also want to praise and let the kids know and put a label on those positive feelings. That's how they learn it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, this is your debut picture book. Have you caught the writing bug? Are there going to be more books coming from Lorrie Manosh?
Yes, I have. I'm really excited to share that this is book 1, and it's The Feeling Closet, What Are You Wearing Today? The second book, while I won't give you the title, has already been written and it's about to go into publishing, and it will also be a feeling closet. It has a different subtitle, different characters, but again, it approaches in a fun and educational way to hit the social emotional learning.
I'm really excited about this. Lorrie, tell everybody where they can connect with you online, find out more about The Feeling Closet, What Are You Wearing Today, and find out more about you.
Absolutely. So you can go to my Facebook page called Author Lorrie, and that's spelled Lorrie Manosh. Manosh. So author Lorrie Manosh on Facebook. You can also go to Facebook feeling page, The Feeling Closet. You can reach me on Instagram at The Feeling Closet. And you can also reach me through email at lorriemanosh@gmail.com.
We've had a great time speaking to the author of The Feeling Closet. What are you wearing today, Lorrie Manosh? Lorrie, thanks so much for being part of the show.
Thanks so much, Jed. I really appreciate the time.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. It's going to be a special episode published on a Monday. We don't typically publish new episodes on a Monday, but we think that this is a pretty important episode, an interview that we wanted to share with you as soon as possible. Our guest will be Dr. Michael Waters. He is the author of a beautiful book called For Beautiful Black Boys Who Believe in a Better World. We talk about the book. We talk about how we as parents, as caregivers, as concerned and loving citizens, how we can work together to create a more just and equal society. It's a wonderful, very powerful, very needed conversation. That's the next episode of the podcast. You've heard us celebrate the fact that Lorrie Manosh's book is a Reading with Your Kids certified great read. If you are the author of a great children's book and you're struggling to help that book stand out from the crowd of books that are published every single week, we suggest that you visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Click on the Author Services button at the top of the page. That's where you can find out all about the Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program. It's a wonderful program. It's helped lots of people. And like we said at the beginning of the show, Lorrie Manosh's book, The Feeling Closet, is our latest Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read. I want to thank the folks who made today's show so very wonderful, starting with our guest, Lorrie Manosh. I also want to thank my incredible team, my amazing producer, Fatima Khan, my awesome author ambassador, Peggy Cotto. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. I want to thank Augie the doggy, who has taken up security here in the studio. But most of all, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so very much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.